Welcome to today's MESUD Learning Community Echo, Strengthening Indigenous Responsiveness, Culturally Respectful Care for Substance Use Disorders. Today we'll be hearing from Erik Lamoreau on the Mi'kmaq Nation's Naloxone Vending Machine. My name is Bethany with CCSME, and I'll be supporting today's webinar. Just a few quick notes before we begin. Neither the presenters nor the planners have any relevant financial relationships to disclose. This activity has been planned and implemented in accordance with accreditation requirements and policies of the ACCME through a joint providership of the Hanley Center for Health Leadership and Education and CCSME. The Hanley Center is accredited by the MMA Committee on Continuing Medical Education and Accreditation to provide CME for physicians. The Hanley Center has designated this activity for one AMA PRA Category 1 credit. The MESUD learning community acknowledges that we are all on ancestral lands of the Wabanaki Confederacy. We have a responsibility to acknowledge the Indigenous connections and histories past and present of the Indigenous land dispossession. And to learn more, you can go to native-lands.ca, and I'll place that link in the chat. Recording and live stream transmission of this webinar without consent is not permitted. And now I'd like to take a moment to introduce our faculty. First, we have Kylie Francis Fowler. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. My name is Kylie Francis Fowler. I am a member of the Penobscot tribe. I live on Indian Island. I'm a member of the Maliseet from Woodstock, New Brunswick, Canada as well. I currently work at the Penobscot Nation Tribal Courthouse. I am a peer recovery advocate, recovery coach, peer support specialist for the Healing to Wellness Court program. I'm very honored to be able to, share this experience with everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kylie. Our other two faculty members, Dr. Louis Melmadrona is on his way. He's will be here shortly. And unfortunately, Lisa Saka Basin will not be able to join us today, but she is also one of our faculty members. And with that, I will hand it off to Erik, or introduce Erik. Erik Lamoreau is an STD peer recovery program coordinator for the Mi'kmaq Family Health System. And I will hand it off to him and let him give our presentation for today.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm going to do a quick presentation on our Naloxone vending machine, which currently is still the only publicly accessible Naloxone vending machine in the state of Maine. You're going to actually get some first look of 1 year of data from that machine. So you're going to see like how that machine has done in the past year in a rural community at 24/7 access. So I'm going to share a little slideshow. All right, so this is our Naloxone vending machine. So I'm going to take a second and just talk about how we got it for funding, like what partnerships we had in order to get this machine, what laws apply and don't apply, being on tribal land, and the tribal concerns and celebrations around this machine. Then I'm going to talk about kind of the daily operation of this machine, any challenges that we've had, successes that we've had with the machine, maintenance, distribution, standing order. That's how we get the naloxone in the machine and able to distribute it, right, is for a standing order. And then I'm going to give you some of the data for the first year of that machine. So funding, I'm going to move this so I can kind of see my own screen. Bear with me. So this was a grant application through the University of Vermont and Cora unit. So if you've done any rural community work in the state of Maine, UVM has been very helpful. They have a HRSA grant that was funded. They're a center of excellence. So they work with both Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine to help supply different harm reduction methods or recovery stuff. So for instance, like they had an opportunity to do some machines. We filled out the grant. We were elected to do the grant, and here we are. So we put in a PO through them for a machine, which is about $10,000 for the machine. And then it has, some software and stuff that you have to use, and some hard wiring and things like that, which is about annually $400 a year to keep the machine online. The machine is unique because it will work even if it's not online. So if it's offline and power goes out or any challenges happen, the machine will still operate. some of the laws are really unique in Maine. Why there's only one and why it's on tribal land is there's a reason for that. It's very unique that we have sovereignty laws, right? And that law specifically states that we can do at the tribe what we think is best for our people. And that includes provide services in which that we believe is the best. Maine has some different laws around publicly dispersing or distributing naloxone in the community in public places. That's a fairly new law. However, it's written very specific. So when we talk to lawmakers in Maine, they they agreed to potentially help sign a letter of support. However, could not necessarily provide that letter because it did not follow their laws. So that's why there's probably still only one in Maine until that law is changed and includes vending machines specifically. Uh, that's we're not going to see anymore until that actually happens. So some of the community concerns. So being a tribal nation, it's really important that we have different unique challenges. And some of the concerns that we really thought was if we put this out there and there's an organization that's low on naloxone, are they going to come and take 50 kits out of it? So they restock their supply because like realistically, naloxone is not cheap. And if an organization is short on funds and does not have the same capabilities or funding to pay for naloxone, were they going to come and clean out our machine? We have not seen that at all. In fact, I've never seen an organization come and take more than two. So that's really, really good. Uh, Being 24/7 and in a vestibule, and you'll see some pictures here very soon. Would we see people, because it's heated and climate controlled, will we see people spending the night in the vestibule, right? And utilizing that space as a safety space, because it is a safe space. 1 year later, we have not had that issue at all. We have not seen anybody actually come in and spend the night. We've had individuals come in at 4 in the morning when it's 22 below zero. They use the machine, they leave. They've never stayed. Um, will people actually use it is always a is was always one of the big concerns. Like, will it actually be utilized? Like, can we justify it? People do use this machine and they use it all hours of the day, and I'll show you some of that data in a little bit. One of the big concerns also was children. Will children think that this is a candy or some sort of shiny object that they want to play with? I have yet had any situation at this time to see that children have used it or not used it. I have actually seen a child take the snack out of it, and that's not a bad thing, but did not take anything else. Um, some celebrations around it is, we wanted to lead by example. Being the first of anything is always challenging, right? And it comes with its own critiques and let's call it media in this sense, right? And we were able to navigate that very well. And that kind of goes with the message to the community. Like if you look at the bottom one, it talks about the message of the community and we as a people wanted to make sure that um, we were making sure that no one else was dying, right? That we wanted to make sure that it was readily accessible and we were doing everything we can. And that's not just to the tribal nation, that is to the community as a whole. This machine is accessible to all of Aroostook County. Like it's not just accessible to tribal people. Uh, yeah, we wanted to make sure it was free. We weren't going to charge for it in any kind of way. And we really wanted to see a reduction in overdoses in the community. The year before the machine, we had 6 overdose deaths in the tribal community. This year, we're on pace to only have 1. So I think the machine is being utilized correctly. I think that people are using it, and I think naloxone is ready available in the community. So that's really good. So here's a couple pictures of the machine when it arrived, and it is gorgeous. It has our emblem on the side of it. We were really extremely happy. It came during our Christmas break. Of course, everybody was off, so we had to run in and accept this machine, and it was 14 below zero last year to try to get this machine in the building. It is a very large machine, a lot larger than we thought it was going to be. But that's a good thing. But it came out, it wrapped beautifully and came off the truck and inside the doors very well. March 1st, 2024, we launched the machine. We had a great crowd in our gym. We wanted to make sure that it was accepted by the community and that people had an opportunity to talk about this. And if they wanted to know more, if they wanted to try it, if they wanted to see what it would look like, we did all of that stuff on that day. And we had a good crowd. We had a good crowd. We had a great lunch, and it was a really nice piece. It also reminded us, and when you're starting something new, it's always really exciting to start something new. And thank goodness for tribal people, because tribal people also reminded us that this was very sad that we had to do this too, right? So that we had to do this just to make sure that we weren't losing any more lives. So it was kind of like a mixed feeling that day, right? Like, yay, we're so excited that this thing is up and running. And then it was kind of like the somber piece of like, it's kind of sad that we have to do this too. So there was a lot of emotion around getting this thing up and going. So the day-to-day operation, some of the challenges is the stigma. Every now and then we still get a message from here and there. Why are you doing that? Why is the government spending money on free naloxone? Just like you hear, why is naloxone free and other medications aren't? You go through that. Um, to promote it is really tough sometimes. Um, You'd be amazed by the amount of people that still don't know that it's there. So we're finding different ways to market it and promote it in a healthy, safe way. So that's always good. The fact that it's not mobile is kind of a challenge. Not everybody in this community. So the Mi'kmaq Nation is set up over 3 locations. We're not just one location. And some of those are 20 to 30 miles away. Aroostook County alone is over 230 miles long. So like realistically, like if you lived in southern Aroostook County, say Holton, or in northern Aroostook County, say Fort Kent, access to this machine is not really accessible on a regular basis, right? Uh, that's the second part of that is there's only one machine and the county is really large. So more machines would probably be better and you'd probably see better numbers. Uh, but we're not sure because there's only one. So successes. So we've adjusted some things in the machine, including adjusting the products and expanding the offerings of what's in the machine. For the first year, we just had 300 kits of naloxone in this machine, and that's fine. Like if an individual knows that there's naloxone in that machine, they'll come and get naloxone if they need the naloxone. The challenge is like not everybody just wants to be seen using the machine with naloxone in it. They would rather come and say, "Hey, I'm going to come get a snack or something else," and maybe take a kit of naloxone with them. So we had to adjust a little bit and found ways to change the offerings inside of the machine to give an opportunity for different stuff. So that way maybe they feel more comfortable taking the naloxone as well. It's really easy to maintain and monitor. It's not hard in any kind of way. It's all done. Every time somebody takes something out, it goes into a data platform. You have access to that data platform. It prints you reports every month. You can go and search what times, how many, what was taken out, all of those kinds of things. So it's really not that hard to maintain it. Filling it can be a challenge. If there is an individual that comes in and takes 15 kits, then you need to fill it, right? And keep it up to date. Rotating stock is important. Dates obviously expire on medications and food. So you have to keep track of those dates. That's actually written in the laws that you have to be able to do that. No different than any other medication, say in a clinic, right? Utilization of it is actually higher than we probably expected originally, which is actually really good. Um, Accepted better by the community than anticipated. Like we really have not had any challenges. I think a lot of people have through education is really have really liked the idea of having this machine and what it's promoting and what it's doing. So some of the logistics around it is like, in order to have the naloxone in the machine, we have to have an active standing order. We renew that annually. We originally had Claxodo in the machine, which is 8 milligram naloxone. We've since taken that out and put regular naloxone back in it due to some of the let's call it, there was a little bit of a stigma around it, as like it was almost too much naloxone. It's rather to bring someone out of an overdose slowly instead of just whopping them out of it, because it can be more harmful than helpful. So we actually took that out, and that's why we have standing orders for whatever medications go in the machine, and naloxone is the only medication in the machine. The cost and funding sources. So we have a TOR grant, which is Tribal Opioid Response Grant through SAMHSA. They actually pay for the naloxone in the machine. Luckily, part of the application for the grant process provided us with 300 kits up front and then 3 refills. So 900 naloxone kits were given to us by the University of Vermont. Rotation of stock, like I talked about earlier, regular checks. That's something we have to do. Probably I do it once a week. If I go through the vestibule myself and see that something's empty, I'll take the point to go fill it and make sure that everything is up to date and stocked. And reporting requirements, right? There's always reporting requirements for anytime you have a grant. So most people here that have ever worked with any kind of grant understands that you have to report how many's taken out and those kinds of things. So some of the data, here's the data for the first year that you guys are getting kind of the first look at this, which is really kind of neat. Um, so naloxone distribution in the first year, we gave out 186 kits. That's 372 doses. That's a half a kit a day. So every other day, someone is utilizing that machine, right? And taking a kit. So a dose a day is taken out of that machine. It's interesting to see what times that they actually come in and use this machine. They actually use it during the day more than they use it like late at night and those kinds of things. You do see a lot of people after hours, so that's why it's a little higher around 5 to 7 p.m. Is actually probably where it's like mostly utilized. For if you were looking at a 2 hour span, that would probably be where it was the highest. Excuse me. New products. And when we added new products, we asked the community what they thought. There's a nice piece of data there that an individual said about it, which I'm not going to read out loud. Um, New products in the first 60 days. So some of the new products that we added was the testing strips. So we added the xylazine testing strips and fentanyl testing strips. We had those available by the machine before, but we wanted to kind of track a little bit better, like who is taking them and how many. Not necessarily who, but like, are they being utilized? Are they being taken? So we put them in the machine as well. We ordered some first aid kits, and this is a great way to market our program too. So we ordered first aid kits with our phone number and Ukwayasin, which is our behavioral health unit. That's what it's called here. Um, and put our name and phone number on it, and that was very helpful. Snacks are really important. Like obviously, working with individuals as we get into the case later, we'll talk about individuals having access to food and how important that is. Condoms was something that we really wanted to make sure that people were safe and try to help diminish the spread of disease. Deterra bags for any medications. We have a lot of elders in our community, right? And Deterra bags are really popular with elders to make sure that they get rid of their medications safely. Phone chargers is a neat one. That was the controversial one that we put in there. However, we do a lot of telehealth in Aroostook County because of the vast majority of land that we have up here in space between each other. So we need to make sure that individuals have access to good working phones and make sure that they have chargers to do so. We also want to make sure that if they have no power on their phone and there's an emergency, that they have power to be able to talk someone through that. So if someone's going to overdose and we encourage them to call an ambulance, we want to make sure that their phone is working. So to be able to do so. So we thought it was actually a really good idea. And they're being taken. And hygiene kits. Hygiene kits have been a lifesaver for this machine. Like you'll see a few pictures in a little bit. They're just simple. There's not much to them. But I do a test and I do believe that in the next part where it says naloxone distribution in the last 60 days, you'll see a 20% increase in the naloxone distribution. And I attest that to the hygiene kits. I think when individuals have access to their basic needs, they'll also take the things that they know that they're around. So that's really a big deal. And I mean, we're giving out hygiene kits more than almost one a day. So right now it's really tough out there for individuals. So that's a big part. Here's where it's located. This is the signage outside of our buildings. You'll see that one of the signs is really large on the side of the building, and then where to access it, which we have signs out by the road as well with directional arrows. It has also now been pinned on Google Maps, so people know where it is. So we're doing some different things to try to make it very much accessible. And you can even see in the reflection in the window, the machine in the back. So that door is unlocked 24/7. So anybody can access that space 24/7 to have access to the machine. There is another door on the inside that's also a very similar door that is locked 24/7 because that's the entrance into the clinic. So here's some of the things in the machine, some more close-ups. I've labeled different stuff inside the machine so that way they can know what they're getting. For instance, that's it is just apples and fruit. It is long shelf life. It's very simple. It's healthy. It's allergy helpful. I mean, obviously some people are allergic to strawberries and things like that, but it's gluten-free, sugar-free. It has all the things. So we try to put healthy pieces in the machine that individuals could actually use, and people really like them. Right below that, you'll see the different hygiene kits. There's a woman on the go, has all woman's needs and stuff, and then there's a man on the go, right? So we kind of make it so individuals can choose what they want based on whatever gender they identify as. And then the condoms are right next to that. And then in the center, you can kind of get an overarching look of everything that's in the machine. The red and blue bags, those are the first aid kits. Those have Band-Aids and gauze and just your regular first aid stuff if you get a scrape, scratch, whatever it is, to try to keep infection down. Going really fast, but we're going to get through it. So here's how it looks. The machine was so big, we originally wanted to be able to see it on the outside. You don't get to see the beautiful emblem on the side because we had to stick it in a closet because there was no place to put it. It was so big, and it was a safety hazard to have it in front of the doorway, so we couldn't get people in and out of the door. So we actually had to take the closet doors off and we stuck it in there, and that actually helps it breathe a little bit, believe it or not, which is kind of nice. You'll see there's instructions on how to use the machine right on the machine as you go to push the pin pad, and here's just a copy of that. One of the things that was really important about this machine and with laws was in order to distribute, you have to provide a training, right, on how to use naloxone. The QR code actually does that. So if an individual comes in and they need a training, they can scan that QR code and it will take them right to a video that gives them a training through the CDC. So it's right there. Now they can have the training if they need the training, and they have access to it if they choose to do so. And that's where I'm at. So I would love questions. I really like that's our team here. We're so excited. But if you have any questions about the machine or want to know more, I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much, Erik. Yes, any questions, you can raise your hand and unmute, or you can place them in the chat. But thank you so much for that presentation. Jude says, fantastic, amazing work. Thank you, Erik. Tanya?
Hi, Erik. It's good to see you again. It's been a little while
Hi,
since we worked
Tanya.
together on the ORN side of things. Congratulations on the vending machine and all the work. The data looks incredible. And I'm really excited for you guys. I had a question because I don't know if we talked about this when we were working together, but I'm on the Indigenous Communities Response Team for the SAMHSA-funded Opioid Response Network. And we do a monthly webinar series for the tribal opioid response grantees. And one of the topics we were contemplating is the vending machines and getting them on more of them placed in Indian country and, on tribal lands. And not so much here on the East Coast, but in some of the the Midwestern tribes, and there's a lot of pushback. People don't even really want to talk about it. The team is kind of contemplating if we even maybe scrap the idea as a topic to present in this current kind of cycle because of the pushback we've seen with it. And I'm just wondering what the conversations were like with your elders and sort of any kind of listening sessions or things you did to really get the buy-in to be where you are now with the vending machine.
That's a great question, Tanya, and thank you for it. I'm going to say that the tribe already had a strategic action plan, and that strategic action plan identified access to naloxone, easier access to naloxone as one of its targets. So this what they do is they say, I don't care how, I just want to know that you're doing it. And this is something that was bought in by the health department. We presented it, like I said, obviously with a layout and many surveys beforehand, just to try to see what the challenges were. We obviously went to council multiple times to talk about this machine. We kept it very open, very honest, and provided education 6 to 7 months before we actually applied. So this was already in the work, and then we found the application, right? So for the grant funding after. So it was more like, let's work at the stigma, and then when we had buy-in, it went well. A lot of it too is also making it personal. Elders were losing their grandbabies, you know what I mean? And it was important to kind of let them know that this is going to at least keep them alive. It's not going to cure a problem, but it was going to at least give them opportunity to have more time with the people that they love. So yeah, the natives are very family strong, right? And that's really something that you sell, right? And I hate saying it like that, but that's what we do. We try to make sure that they understand that this is going to help longevity of people, right? So in generations to come.
Thank you so much for your question, Tanya. I think, oh, Lori?
Hi, Lori Fear. I'm an addictions counselor down in South Portland, and I'm not sure if I missed it. What town is this vending machine near, and what building is it in? Just so that my friends up in Aroostook County know it's there.
So it's in the hub of Aroostook County, right? So it's in Presque Isle. It is in the Micmac Family Health Center, and it is on the south end of the vestibule, and there's signage all over, Lori, so they'd be able to see it.
Thanks.